Hi everybody, it's Danny with Funukuleleprojects. I'm actually recording this on Christmas Eve, but you probably won't be seeing this video till, well, sometime in the new year. Anyway, I have a special project here and I'm doing a quick video because of the fact that this is going back to use space so that it can be, hopefully delivered to the owner in time for Christmas. And what's in here is a customization project, not a collaboration, but a customization project. And you might ask, well, what's the difference? Well, collaboration would be where I'm doing something and then I've got to get my part of a project done because the other person is waiting for it to finish, the total project. Customization is taking something that's already completed and then, adding to that. In this case, what I have inside here is a custom Romero tiny tenor. It's a beautiful little instrument. It is rosewood and spruce. And you already know that if people that know about Pepe stuff already probably see the customization. And that is that Pepe doesn't normally put anything up on the headstock. And the owner of this ukulele either came up with the idea or was presented with the idea. I actually don't know which way it worked. I just know that I was contacted by Jason and Patrice of U-Space asking if I could put a star, inlay a star into the headstock of a custom Romero tiny tenor. And the reason for the star is that the owner of this instrument's name is Star, or I believe Esther, but she goes by Star. And so I said that, I could do that. That'd be a fun project. It might be really challenging because of how tiny the headstock of a tiny tenor is. So even my really nice, Stumac plunge router bass for, Dremel and other type rotary tools that makes them suitable for inlay work is probably too big to just work off of this little tiny headstock. So I said, I would figure something out for that. It actually goes this way. You can see it like that, the star. The reason I thought this would be a good project for a video is to explain just what all was involved with putting a star, inlaying a star into this headstock. Because truly, 75–80% of a project like this is the planning. For instance, this is way too small to route for a star. I didn't want to use a bushing setup. Well, if I was using a bushing setup, you could do that, but not with this something this small. And you'd have to use, for those of you who don't know what bushings are, you can get like router jigs and you route with one and then it's got a bushing you put on the bit and you route with another. But you don't get a real precise star. You won't get these super, super tight points. I'll show a photo of this a little later in the video. See, these points are like absolute points and a router can't do that. And so what I needed to do was route most of it. And then from there, hand carve the rest of the star into this. Now, I'm getting ahead of myself. Because I said I would do that, so the first thing I asked was, how many points does the person want on the star? And I found out it was 5. Then I asked, well, what would she like the star made out of? Do you want mother of pearl, abalone, gold mother of pearl, other materials? And the original idea was mother of pearl, and I was out of my mother of pearl, so ordered some more mother of pearl. I did have a piece of gold mother of pearl, and I also had some abalone. And so the idea would be to go with mother of pearl. And then when I saw the instrument, I said, I took a bunch of photos of the different, of like regular mother of pearl, gold mother of pearl, abalone to see the difference in colors. I moved them in the light so that Jason and then Star could see how they shimmer. And that was very important to me because you see, color is real important to me. And when push came to shove, this rosewood is actually quite light for rosewood, which is fine. Rosewood varies. But this rosewood also has sort of a golden orangish hue to it. And white mother of pearl will look green and it can look sort of pink, and pink and orange really don't go that well together. And so in addition to that, when it goes green, mother of pearl is too light a green to really go well with the deep greens in abalone. So that sort of ruled white mother of pearl out. Abalone would have matched the abalone rosette, and it would have matched the abalone fret markers. However, the challenge that abalone would have had is that abalone is really highly figured, and this is a really rather straight grain, very noticeable grain, but pretty straight grain rosewood on faceplate. And so the challenge with abalone was that it would look sort of like plaid and stripes together. I've got striped pants, but I'm wearing fleece. But it would look like plaid and stripes up top. Be really busy. It would tie everything together, but it would look sort of busy. Gold mother of pearl, and particularly this piece here, actually blended really well with the spruce, as you can see, like this. I don't know how well the light's going to catch as I move this, but also this particular gold mother of pearl has a grain to it that goes up. I was able to get it to go up and format it so it's like it's going up the star and exploding. Either it's like the star's flying down, or it's going up and explodes into the center of the star. And so it goes really well with the spruce. It goes really well with the golds that are in the abalone. This star blends really with the gold in the star, really goes well with the gold in the gold tones in the faceplate. And so that was the color I went with. And I also put ebony around the edges of the star, ebony powder. I worked it in so that it would highlight the star the same way that the black goes around the rosette down here. Now, that was the planning that goes into this. Now, that was part of the plan. That was the planning that went into the abalone. Now the star, I actually drew a 1-inch circle, and I marked 72-degree points on the circle to create the star. For people that don't know, a star is actually what's called an inverted decagon. There's a mathematical formula for drawing one, so it turns out properly. And once I had the star drawn, I started with 1 inch, and that was just a little too big. It fit here, but it was too big for the 1-inch square mother of pearl was just the tiniest bit off, so I just shrink it 10%, just so that I could have the tips of the star show up, properly, and have them fairly symmetrical. Now, in addition to that, in order to get this stable, I actually had to build a routing station just for this headstock. And I'll put a photo up of the little routing station I built. I took this, when the strings were off and the nut was out, I was able to put this down on the edge of some scrap plywood I had, and I was able to trace the outline of the headstock, and I took it to my scroll saw and cut out the exact outline of the headstock so that this would fit right into the routing station. And then I measured the height of this thing sitting at my workbench till it was level, so that I knew how high to make the routing station. And I didn't get into all little details of trying to make screw adjustments and this and that. Sometimes all of that extra adjustment is just more work than is necessary. What I did was I had it set up so I could do fine tune. I had some shim blocks to go under my station, and I would just put tape like at the edge. You'll see, I'll have a photo where the tape goes down around this, that the router can glide on as I get the fine tune it to whatever height. And the reason for doing that is if I ever have the odd chance that I need to put another inlay into another tiny tenor headstock of the same size, I can just use tape once again to shim, because these being handmade, this will vary ever so slightly, a few thousandths, and that few thousandths is enough to need to shim it. Then what I ended up doing, once I had it all set up, I cut the star first on my scroll saw, and then I had to freehand route this. So I used my, as I said, my Stumac plunge router base so that I could get a nice route. And then I routed up to the line, and you'll see in the photo, if I have a photo of it, I actually use like red. I printed red. For me personally, visually, if I'm scrolling, I scroll to the very outside of the line. I believe I have a photo I can put up of the star, and I'll scroll to the very outside of the edge, and then I route to the inside edge of the line, so that what's routed is actually a little smaller than the star itself. Then I can hand carve the rest of it, so I have nice sharp points, and that way, the star fits in nicely. As I said, I've got the points I want, and I can put the ebony outline in it to highlight the star, and that's basically what goes in. And it gets glued in place. Once it's set in place and is put in place, then it's glued in place. And then I had to refinish the top to match the rest of the instrument. It was a really fun project. It really turned out nicely. It's a wonderful little instrument. I mean, all of Pepe's instruments are wonderful instruments. I'm not going to bother playing it right now. The strings, I just restrung it, and it would take me a while to get them balanced. And I just wanted to do this quick video to document what was involved with this particular customization. So quick review, first I had to decide, what kind of star I didn't decide. I asked to find out from the owner what type of star she wanted. That was a 5-point star. Then I had to determine the material. That required an awful lot of photographs showing the different materials that I had in different lights and how they reflect, and then choosing a material that matched the color of the instrument and complemented the overall design of the instrument. Very easy just to grab some white mother of pearl and just stick it in there, or abalone or something else, without really taking the whole project into account. But I don't like to work that way, so I found the material that would match the total instrument the best. Then I had to make a special workstation, which you saw pictures of. And once the workstation was built, I think I have a photo setting up. I have a little dust collector that I got quite a few years ago. My wife was doing more wood carving, so that it'll pull dust away. Plus, the little router I use has a dust blower on the base, and it's got its own little light on the base, so it's a very nice little setup. And then once I had it routed to the rough size, then came time to hand carve the straight edges and make sure I had nice sharp points in the star. Then install the star, put the ebony powder around, get that glued in place, refinish the faceplate, and hand rub the faceplate. I've hand rubbed it down to, I believe, 3,000 grit, so it would have this silky satin sheen. I actually did the whole instrument. I did a final rubbing on the whole instrument, so it just has this super satiny look and silky feel since I was doing this. And while I had it off, I conditioned the fretboard and the bridge, a little extra details, just to sort of showcase the work that was done, so it all blends. And it was just a really, as I said, fun project. I hope you enjoyed the video, and everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video.